观众朋友们好，现在是美国东部时间9月10日，这里是华尔街网报当日第2期节目。现在我们继续为您带来有关中国以及世界的最新消息。如果喜欢，请记得为节目点赞，并请订阅我们的频道。首先为您关注到的是来自彭博社的独家突发消息。据熟悉此事的人士透露，拜登政府正在考虑对中国的补贴以及对美国经济的损害进行新的调查，作为在贸易方面向中国施压的一种方式。拜登的高级经济顾问，包括美国贸易代表戴奇，还有商务部长雷蒙多，将在今天下午开会讨论潜在的调查。消息人士在不愿意透露姓名的情况下表示，他们还将讨论在川普领导下达成的2021年1月的贸易协议执行方案，以及对中国进口商品征收3000亿美元关税的未来前进道路。其中2位消息人士对彭博社表示，美国贸易代表已要求外部顾问帮助量化中国补贴造成的损失，以便在调查时衡量合适的应对措施。报告发布之后，离岸人民币缩减涨幅，标普500指数和纳斯达克金龙中国指数在发布后触及时段低点，跌幅不大。会议之前不到1天，美国总统拜登和中国国家主席习近平刚刚进行了90分钟的电话会议。拜登在会谈中对于中国政府在与他的团队接触方面缺乏严肃性表示失望。彭博社引述一位美国官员表示，拜登希望确保世界上2个最大经济体之间的关系不会转向冲突，并解释美国针对北京其行为和行动背后的意图。而根据中国官方媒体中央电视台的报道，习近平告诉拜登，美国一段时间以来采取的政策给2国关系造成了严重困难。美国贸易代表办公室拒绝发表评论，商务部和白宫则没有立即回应评论请求。彭博社文章引述消息人士表示，政府倾向于恢复某些关税的排除程序，但是尚未做出决定，而商界和立法者已经要求政府允许此类关税豁免。政府一些人士认为，在川普领导下征收的关税并没有使中国的行为发生预期中的变化，随着时间的推移，又已经失去了作为杠杆让中国回到谈判桌上或履行在2020年第1阶段协议中所做承诺的能力。根据301条款进行的调查，与上届政府对来自中国的进口产品广泛征收关税所使用的法规相同，将需要几个月的时间来完成。目前还不知道白宫何时会宣布这些事项的审查结果，政府官员说可能会在不久的未来发生。有一位消息人士说，白宫也正在考虑对中国采取行动可能造成的附带损害，以及中国潜在报复可能对美国工人和农民产生的影响。消息人士还说，美国希望确保其盟友和国会不被其行动所蒙蔽，在任何宣布之前会率先进行磋商。
We come together first and foremost to honor the people we lost on that horrific day. Nearly 3,000 men, women, children in New York, in Arlington, in Shanksville. For their loved ones, the pain from the loss began on 9/11. They felt it every day since. It showed our capacity to defend the pluralism that has long been one of our country's greatest strengths, including by embracing our Muslim American brothers and sisters. It showed the risks that so many are willing to take to save the lives of complete strangers. So today we remember all of that and more. We've also come together today because, maybe more than any other event in our lifetimes, 9/11 shaped the trajectory of our country and how we engage in the world. It motivated an entire generation to pursue lives of service. Looking around this department today, we can see how the attacks changed us and changed our diplomacy. Thousands of diplomats served in Afghanistan and Iraq, and elsewhere in support of the war against Al-Qaeda and other terrorist groups. Thousands more served in new bureaus and roles that didn't exist before the attacks, like counterterrorism, conflict, and stabilization. Virtually every part of the department was mobilized in some way to play a role in preventing another 9/11. Critical work that many of us continue to this day. Part of our job, part of our responsibility as diplomats, is to perpetually reflect on how we engage with the rest of the world and to ask some very basic questions. Are we making our nation safer, more secure? Are we advancing our interests? Are we living up to our values? Are we focusing too much on some threats and not enough on others? Are we missing opportunities? We were asking those questions then. We have a responsibility to continue asking them now, to more effectively tackle the challenges that we face today, to try and see around the corner to the crises and challenges of tomorrow, to make sure we're doing all we can to deliver for our fellow citizens. Whether you were part of the team that was there when the attacks occurred, whether you joined because of those attacks, or whether you came here for some other reason altogether, what we all have in common is that deep down, we feel a calling to try to do right by our fellow Americans, to try to make their lives just a little bit more secure, a little bit more prosperous, a little healthier, with a little more opportunity. And we want to engage the world in a way that makes their lives and our lives and the world better. Wherever we serve, whatever the challenge or crisis, we've chosen diplomacy as our tool to make that world a little bit better.
To speak, we also thank you for your service, and we also thank those individuals.
Thank you all very much for joining me this morning to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the attacks of September 11th, 2001. It's an important time to be among friends and colleagues. That day is forever seared into all of our memories. The pain, the terror, the enormous loss, and also the incredible displays of courage. I'd like to start by honoring those who lost their lives on 9/11 and the many who died of 9/11 related illnesses since. Please join me for a moment of silence. Thank you. Nothing can change the profound way the events of September 11th affected us individually, as a department, and as a nation. Nothing we can do or say can replace the loss so many endured on that day. As we have changed as a nation, as a federal government since 9/11, the Justice Department, we mark this anniversary by remembering that we evolve more successfully when we build on our core foundations. We do this by adhering to the values that the Justice Department represents. Chief among them, the rule of law, the pursuit of justice, and the protection of civil rights and civil liberties. The tree we are standing before is a living symbol of our values and our refusal to bend in the face of terrorism. It embodies our nation's spirit of hope and health and strength and resilience in the wake of the attacks. This calorie pear tree is a descendant of a tree at Ground Zero that became known as the Survivor Tree after standing through the terror attacks at the World Trade Center. Each year, the National September 11th Memorial and Museum gives seedlings from the Survivor Tree to 3 communities that have endured tragedy in recent years. In 2015, the department dedicated the planting of the Survivor Tree, the seedling from the Survivor Tree. The following year, Attorney General Loretta Lynch dedicated a commemorative plaque. And today, I am humbled to have the honor of announcing the permanent installation of this plaque. The plaque reminds us that the threats from foreign terrorists like those involved in September 11th is one we must constantly guard against. As I said yesterday, we rededicate ourselves at the Justice Department to doing all we can to protect the American people from terrorist attacks, whether originating from abroad or at home, and in doing so in a way that is consistent with our values and the rule of law. What we must do, what we have done, is to learn from the past to better anticipate and prepare for the next threat and to seek to disrupt it. It is an awesome responsibility, but it is one we undertake together, and in that, it gives us strength. Thank you for all being here.
感谢您来到由我Lizzi 为您带来的今日华尔街频道。在看过节目之后，如果喜欢，请别忘了为节目点赞，也请您在留言区留下您对节目的见解和意见。如果您是频道会员的话，我们会在第一时间回复您的留言，解答您的疑问。另外，如果还没有订阅的话，请记得要订阅频道，并且打开订阅按钮旁边的小铃铛，这样您就可以在第一时间收到节目发布的最新信息了。再次感谢您观看今日华尔街频道，我是Lizzi，我们下次再会。